Then I can look to say, okay, let me scale some of this stuff out at logical places that would be profitable for me. But my trades don't, I don't need to be taking off partials. I explain and show you that because you aren't me. You don't have 30 years experience. You don't know and how to trust and have the conviction to hold to your target. I do. I'm going to teach you how to do that. But I can't teach you to do full pulls on your trades when you haven't even learned how to, number one, master yourself, get yourself in a position that you can be trained and learn. And then you start small. Five handles is easy. Five handles replaces your fucking job. I don't care what you make. You can be a surgeon. I have them. Five handles, you can make more than that surgeon earns in a year. All the heavy lifting is done by money management. You just need to have the cookie cutter that repeats over and over and over again. This thing that you keep doing, that's your multiplier. Five handles right now is easy for you to learn to do. It's not easy when you first start. But if you look at these price ranges in the morning session and the afternoon session, there's several five handle runs in there. Easy ones. The problem is you want more right now. You're holding yourself to an expectation that you are not realistically going to meet. And then you're wondering why you're depressed and anxious. You're feeling rushed. You're weighing yourself against what you think you should know by now. And that's bullshit. There's only been 1 week. 1 week. And you think you're supposed to quit your job and be able to double your fucking account in a month. That's not practical, man or lady. It's not something that you should be aspiring to do right now. Can you do that and eventually over time? Sure, you can. Absolutely. Let it be a goal that you work towards, but you have to place time and experience and invite the opportunity for that experience to come in and build before you take on those monumental projects and goals for yourself. But the first thing you're trying to learn how to do now is find the setups that repeat. And then once you find that one that repeats, you will learn how to trust it because you see it happening every day. Every day it'll be there. I promise you. Scouts honor, you will see a fucking five handle run every day. Every day. Every fucking day. If that market's open, five fucking handles is laid in front of you every single day on a silver platter. You just can't identify it right now. And that's absolutely normal. That's normal. There's no reason to be anxious about that. But at some point, you may be forced to make changes in your personal life to be able to do this. I did. I had to. I had to work two part-time jobs to get the difference between what I was earning at my full-time job. It's a lot. One job was across town, one was real close to my home. One paid next to nothing, but those hours were permissible because of the times I'm trying to trade. And I was trying to do that morning session with the bond market. That's what I was trying to trade. That was the thing that I was working towards. And I had to give up, my job so I could be in front of the chart to do that. It's scary, yes. But I didn't do it blindly. I said, I'm going to do this now because I have all this back testing. I have all this forward testing. I have the data to support the fact that I know I can make $1,000 a week in bonds. And I don't need to trade every single day. I'm looking for that one trade for that 1 week. I'm teaching you how to see this every day. That builds confidence real quick, real quick, but not to inspire overconfidence. Not, I'm quitting my fucking job tomorrow, man. I'm ready. You got me all hyped up now. No, I'm aligning your perspective and aligning your thoughts with what it is I'm trying to put you through. So that way the experience itself will be the educator. I'm just the coach. I'm putting you in front of the charts when the setups are going to form, trusting that your observation skills, which are hopefully menial, they're just that's the app. If you can read, okay, and if you can observe, you'll see it. It'll be there. It'll jump off the chart. Right now, it probably doesn't jump off the chart. I mean, you can see where I'm annotating the charts in the morning session. You can see what I've annotated in the afternoon. Those annotations were real time. They're not added after the fact. So when I talk about what the charts are likely to do, what the next candles and what series of candles and what it should perform, going higher or lower, don't go lower than this, go here, stop, maybe retrace and consolidate and go up here next or go down here next. All of that is experience. That part comes to you over time. How much time? You're all going to learn that differently. Some of you are going to warm up to it real fast and get a feel for reading order flow quick. And some of you are going to require a little bit more time. Do not fault yourself for that. Chances are you're probably just worrying about things and what if thinking. What if I don't get this as soon as I want to? What if, you know, I lose my job now? And I wasn't worried about that. Now fucking ICT is giving me a complex. I'm having a phobia about losing my job now. Good. You should be afraid of losing your job. You absolutely should be afraid of losing your job because you're not essential. You're not. You can be made redundant real quick. So you have to have a way of being able to do what? Because if you lost your job, let's just say it like this. If you lose your job, they fired you. You go in on Monday and they say, hey, look, and you're sacked. You're out of here. Here's your pink slip. Goodbye. What the hell? They don't care. They don't care that you have children. They don't care that you have student debt. They don't care that your mortgage went up because they raised property taxes. They don't give a shit. But what are you forced to do then? Go out there and look for another job. That may require you to do a different work schedule, work load, skills that you aren't really that good at yet, but you got to go through the stress of going through it. Why? Because you got to earn money. Okay, the money that's available in these marketplaces, why is it any different? All you're doing is going through the training process to get your certificate, your degree, your diploma. That's what you're here for this year. Some of you want to walk out and be a fucking surgeon just because you read Grey's Anatomy. That's not practical. You can't do that, folks. And this is really technical. And it's very hard and you're wrestling with the brightest minds in the entire world. And they're trying to beat you. They're making it almost impossible if you use retail stuff. Because those things, they're distractions. And all I'm asking you to do is really look at this chart and figure out where, and don't use these individual swings to justify either. Think about where you are in your personal life. What changes are you comfortable with making to allow yourself to be in these markets watching it live? 2.5, 3 hours of a day, a couple times a week, that's all you need. Because one good setup per week can replace your entire work week and what you earn. It doesn't feel like that, but it's exactly what it is. And when you can repeat it every week, it compounds. And then because you can do that, your confidence level, your trust in yourself and what you're learning and what you have learned will repeat. Then you're willing to do what? What an entrepreneur does: expand, make more changes to allow for this to completely and utterly replace your job. But that doesn't happen right away. You can't try to force that to be immediate or overnight. And I know that's not what you want to hear, but it's what you need to hear. You need to understand that because you're going to hold yourself back by having that mindset instead of just simply saying, okay, I'm rolling my sleeves up. I'm committing this entire year. It's less than a 4-year degree, but you're going to make more than any PhD, any master in business because there's no limit to this. You pour as much as you want to pour into this and you get what you get put in. You put shit at, half-ass attempts to do it. Don't be upset when you get half-ass results. You're going to lose money when you're doing it, just like when you lose money when you don't make the work. You get sick, you lose money. Your kid gets sick, you got a medical bill. Well, that's a loss. You don't look at it like that, but that's exactly what it is. So there's all these perfect excuses that you're using to not do what's required to be successful in speculation. But if you look at these individual candles here, every individual candle represents 1 minute of time. What's the highest high of that 1 minute interval? What's the lowest low? Where is the opening price of that 1 minute candle? Where's the closing price of that? That's the only thing you're concerned about. And time. You can see, obviously, the highs and lows. If you're looking at your chart, okay, Patrick, uh, Patrick Wheelan, I'm saying this to you. When you're showing your charts and when you're looking at charts, you want to have this much on your chart. I know you're probably zoomed in to help your viewers look at it, but if you're not looking at your entire day like this, and the rest of you also, when I'm looking at my 1 minute charts, I have a 1 minute chart that's just like this. I have a lot of screens. But if you're looking at price and you don't have this much real estate in terms of the candles, you don't have enough. You're too zoomed in, and it's like looking at the forest with your nose right on the tree that you're closest to. Can you see the forest? No. So you have to be able to see and internalize where liquidity is. Where is the morning session highs? Where is the morning session lows? Where's equilibrium on the range that's already been formed for the day? Where's the liquidity pool that's just beyond what your chart's showing right now because you're too zoomed in, and you're surprised, like, oh shit, what just happened? Why the hell did that just happen? Where did that move come from? You're never going to hear me say, and you've watched me do it now. Do you ever hear me say or hear me show a manner like, oh, what the fuck? Oh shit, where the fuck did that come from? I'm not surprised. I'm not fucking surprised. I'm expecting, I'm anticipating. I'm already in the future waiting for price to get to where I am. You're going to get to that point too. You're not going to be surprised. You're not going to be gasping in panic and having anxiety attacks because you're watching real-time price action. You want to anticipate how price is going to deliver based on the concepts that I'm sharing with you. And over time, you're going to get better at this than you probably expect to. And that's going to be a wonderful testimony that I can't wait to hear from you when you share it. So let's get into the details here and give you some practical things to look for. Obviously, I gave you the 4069.75 low in the London session, near the end of the London session on Friday, before New York session even began. And I'll show you all that detail in the analysis in the charts on Sunday. So that way I'll show you where that price level came from and why I felt confident in sharing it with you. And then now I'm going to talk about the 41025 level, 4101.5 level, the 4104 level, and the 41050. That is a layered area of liquidity. Above what? If you look at the 130 highs, and in your chart, it's going to be real close to where it says high of day. Go down a little bit to there's a little red line and go to the right end of that red line segment. That high right there at 1330, which is 1:30 New York local time. That high is relatively equal to that of the high that was formed between 10 o'clock and 10:30 in the left-hand side where it says buy side liquidity. The fact that the 1330 high running above 4100 breached the high that was formed between 10 o'clock and 10:30 on the left-hand side where I have buy side liquidity, that in itself is too shallow of a run. Notice how it just went up there a couple times at around 130, ahead of 130. Just a few candles went up there, and then we moved from that high down to around 4082 at 2:30 in the afternoon. See that? When that retraced, I had a stop loss on my one singular account or one singular contract in my account, and it went to 4084.50. That was where my stop loss was. And I was willing to let it come all the way back down there or see my limit order filled at 4101.50. Now, the high of the day, right around that 130 high, was exactly 4101.50.